That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Ryan O'Halloran.
Jason David Frank.
Humberto Ramos.
Please do not change channel.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't done it yet, go down and hit subscribe. Come back over and over again. Tune in. We've got artists, authors, filmmakers, musicians, entertainers. We've got creative minds of all kinds here on the Hangin' With Web Show, and we're going to bring you those interviews just as quick as you can. So hit the little bell. Get notified when we go live every time, so that you can keep up and never miss one. We are here in the studio via Skype tonight, and we are hanging with author Marc Alan Edelheit, an award-winning, best-selling, creative guy. What more do you guys want to know? Why are you even watching the show anymore? You don't want to know anymore. We're going to tell you more, though. Marc, how are you, man? Thanks for hanging with us.
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. I'm in New Hope, Pennsylvania, and this is my office that all the magic happens in, and I've got a great view behind me. We've got forests back there, and in the last days, the deer brought out their babies. Pretty cool.
That is the perfect writing space.
It is. I actually closed the windows. They're all over the lawn next door. So. It's 72 degrees out and beautiful.
Gotta love that. Gotta love that. I know that folks out there, I know that they do because you're a best-selling author. I know they know you from Chronicles of an Imperial Legionary Officer.
Yep.
Whew, that's a mouthful, man.
Yeah, that's the Silo series. We call it Silo. Yep. I also have Tales of the Seventh that's out. That's a series, and the Kara Saga as well.
Wow, fantastic, man. Well, let's start at the beginning. We'll give them the nickel tour here of a career in writing. How long have you been working now?
I published my first book in March of 2015, and basically kind of fell into it by accident. I'm the kind of guy that if I don't do something, if I don't try something, it's never going to get done. And I always wanted to write a book, so I said, "Hey, let me try it." I self-published my first book. I did everything wrong, and it took off anyway. Next thing I have an agent, and it's gangbusters.
Yeah, well, making all those mistakes on that first one that's how we learn and grow as writers.
Absolutely.
And there's one thing that the internet is good for, and that is they are absolutely unforgiving. When you do it wrong, they tell you a lot. So. Oh,
absolutely, absolutely. And I get hit up by a bunch of by writers. Literally every week, several writers saying, "Can you give me any advice?" And my prime piece of advice to them is, if you're going to publish a book, do it right. Go ahead and get a copy editor, a developmental editor. Do it right, because you only have one opportunity to introduce yourself to the world. And if you blow it, that's it for your career. And I was lucky. I did everything wrong, but at the same time, I did a number of things right. And people fell in love with my characters. And I feel very humble about that, and that I can write something and people really enjoy it, and it's gotten to the point where it's so successful that as of this January 1, I took writing full time, and right now I'm a full-time author, and I can firmly say that, or honestly say that, I'm working half days, 12 hours a day, every day.
Yeah, there you go. And that's just it. You hit it right on the head. The biggest thing that we tell our new authors is, if you want to know where to start writing, sit at your keyboard and start writing. If you want to know where to start publishing, start learning your craft and learning the business so that you can get copy editors, so that you can get developmental editors, so that you can get cover designers. We're not artists. We work with words. We don't work with pictures and paintings and visual arts. So get those people that you need to help you. And the great thing about the modern shift in the arts and entertainment paradigm is those people are available to you if you reach out.
Yes, and you hit the nail right on the head about just writing. My agent, her email, when it comes to me, It doesn't say Andrea Hearst on it. What it says is it says just right. And that sums it up. You've got to write to get it done, and you got to work on it every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you have a great world that you're working in your epic. It's an epic saga. It's really what it is. You've seen the page count and the word count from you. It's epic.
It is.
Tell us what it was like for you incorporating ancient Rome into your fantasy world and how you worked at it. I see the helmet behind you. I know you're studious in your research. So what was it like for you to try to work in that world and still build a fantasy world?
Yeah, that's a Roman legionary helmet. It's a replica. It's you know, I just talked at my daughter's school and I brought it in and the kids thought it was great. But you know, one of the things that I did was I went and created this world. And it's really unique in the industry. And I think Amazon's actually created a new category because of the series. But, you know, one of the things that I did was I created this awesome world that I want to play in, but I can't play in it. So it's like almost real. It's almost tangible. It's a lot of fun. But what got me into it was my passion is military science fiction. And I wanted to write a military science fiction novel. For my first novel, I wanted to write something simple, something easy. And I said, you know what? I'm going to write a fantasy novel. It can't be that complex. It can't be that hard. And I decided that I would give it a shot. So,
famous last words of the author. It can't be that hard.
Yeah, exactly. It turned out to be very complex. But one of the things that I did was I looked at it and I said, okay, if I'm going to write a fantasy novel, there's certain things that I hate about some of the fantasy novels that I read out there. And it's like when you have a battle, it's not really realistic. So I basically I said, you know what? I'm going to make it historically accurate fantasy. And I thought of a time period. I thought of a number of time periods I wanted to throw in. And I said, you know what? The Roman legions are awesome. They did some really cool stuff. And we know a lot about them. And at the same time, we don't know a lot about them. So I said, okay, why don't I take Roman legionaries and drop them in a fantasy setting and see what happens? And the rest is history. You know, it's how they think, how they live, how they operate, how they fight.
YouTube, the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yes.
Exactly.
See?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us a little about what you're working on right now, man. What do you got coming down the pipe?
Well, what I got coming down the pipe is right here. This is The Tiger's Time. Comes out in July. It is The Tiger's Time.
The Tiger's Time. Now that weighs in, if we're not mistaken, at over 770 pages as it stands right now.
Yes, it's actually longer now. It's with my editor. I get it back on Monday. It's also with my beta readers. I'm happy to say I've kept a number of them from getting good night's sleep for several days. You know, I've getting a lot of...
When you can keep people up all night to read your stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had one of the beta readers email me and said, you know what? I've only gotten 3 hours sleep last night. I've got a shift I've got to get to. I'll finish reading later. But I'm getting a lot of feedback and take it in. My agent's reading it. My editors are reading it. And I've got a lot of feedback. And one of the things they came back was they wanted more in the beginning of the book. So we're going to add 3 chapters to it. So the book is probably going to end up somewhere in the neighborhood of, you know, 225,000 words.
That's a working writer right there, everybody. That's 225,000 words is no easy. That's not a cakewalk for anybody. That's really diving in. When
I started this book January 1.
You just January 1. You did 225,000 words since January 1.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. I'm now going to hang my head in shame at my shameful progress on my next project. That is, oh my Lord, that's an amazing pace to keep, man.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing what you can do when you don't have a full-time job, and writing is your full-time job.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. You know, it is. one of the most rewarding things in the world as an artist is that moment when you're able to become a full-time artist, when this is your gig. I know when books started to sell and the show started to move, it was that moment of clarity when I said, hey, this is my thing. This is what I do now. And, you know, it's not like that thing I do on the weekends anymore. This is the thing I do. That's an amazing moment. Now you've traveled the world. You've been around a few times. Have you gotten to Rome yet? Have you gotten to see?
I have. Yes. It was surreal at the same time because I've done so much research on it. I'll tell you what was more surreal though was when I went to Israel and I was walking through the Arab market, and it suddenly hit me that Roman legionaries had walked on the same streets I was. So it was just one of those things that was absolutely fascinating to me. And you do so much research when you're in Rome and you're looking at the ruins and stuff, and you're trying to go ahead and figure out what it actually looked like. It's pretty amazing. One of the,
like you said, it's a surreal moment when you're, you know, walking footpaths and thinking about not the hundreds, not even the thousands, the tens of thousands of people through thousands of years that have tread those same footpaths. It reminds us how small we are on an infinite timeline.
Yeah, on a cosmic scale.
So we see the replica Legionnaire's helmet behind you. So in your travels and through your research and through your studies, best memento so far. Best thing that you.
Yeah, that was actually a gift by my brothers. You know, I was at Masada in Israel. It's a Roman fortress. You know, you probably heard of it. And when you're up top and you look down, you can see the Roman encampments, and you can still see the Roman ramp to get up there. It's just it's stunning to sit there and say, I've read about this. It's just, you know, it's something else to see it.
That is really, really fantastic. When should we expect the finale here on the book? You're shooting for another couple chapters, so.
Yes, I've got two of them written. I've got another to write. It's going to publish in July, so we're pretty excited about that.
Wow, good deal, good deal. And another breakneck pace, by the way, everybody. He's been writing since January. He's got thousands, hundreds of thousands of pages, and now, or you know, words, not pages. Boy, well, he'll get there. Don't worry. At the pace he's writing, give him a year.
Yes.
And that's fantastic. It really, really is. Where can readers and people find you next? Where are you going to? Where are you going to be? Going to be making any appearances coming up? Are you going to do a tour?
Yeah, I'm going to be at Dragon Con again as a guest, which is pretty cool because
we'll be there somewhere.
Awesome.
Doing our thing somewhere in some tiny little corner, tucked away, we hope. And
yeah, usually you can find me usually with Jim Butcher and a few other people. It's just it's a neat place to go. It's one big party. Last year we gave away around 600 free books to people. I'm going to be at probably SuperCon in July in Raleigh, and then probably Anime USA in December. We've been invited to WindyCon and WonderCon as well.
Awesome. Fantastic, man. That is great. We're going to put links down below so that everybody out there on the World Wide Web can find Marc Alan Edelheit and his work, which is growing. Like, he probably typed another 12,000 words while we talk. So,
I wish.
Yeah. So, you guys make sure you check out those links. Check out those books. Pick them up. We've got, what do we have here? We have, Lost Legion that we started. Legion. All right.
Lost Legio 9.
Lost Legio 9. We've been debating how to pronounce the Legion with a missing N for 3 days.
Well, that's how the Romans pronounced it. So, yeah, that book is half historical fiction, half fantasy. So it takes place with one of the greatest mysteries in history. What happened to the lost really the Roman, the Ninth Roman Legion. 1 minute it was there in northern England, and the next minute it was gone. And nobody knows what happened to it. Some people think it was destroyed by the Scots. Other people think it moved and was disbanded. But for a legion that has been around for hundreds of years, with combat veterans, to lose an entire legion with their allied auxiliaries, it was a pretty big thing for the Empire. Lost Legio 9.
One that we are currently working on. So, guys, pick up these books. We're going to put links down below for you. We've got to wrap it up. As we do, we want to say thank you to our partners and our friends at Something Unique Magazine, Famous Faces and Funnies, Krypton Radio, Off the Chain Radio with author Yvonne Mason, Space Coast Comics, Asylum Convention Entertainment Services, who help us book into some of these fantastic events so that we can actually meet Mark in person at Dragon Con. And we also want to thank Wordfire Press and the great team over there who has helped us from the very beginning get started. Guys, remember, check the links down below for more on Mark and his books. Log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Thank you.